Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man and it's time to make some soap. So as you probably gathered from seeing the crock pot and from the title, we're doing some hot process soap today. I am testing a new fragrance, and usually when I test a new fragrance I do it in the tall skinny mold with frosting on top because it's a smaller batch. Well, that's what I'm doing today, but the fragrance is known to misbehave. It's known to cause considerable ricing and considerable acceleration, which to me is just a disaster waiting to happen in cold process. So I'm testing it in hot process, just the hot process amount. The fragrance is called Beach Fragrance Oil, not a most original name, but I think it was Katie Carson used it and showed how badly it misbehaves in cold process, but it said it was so worth it because it smells so good and retains its scent so well. And all of the users on the website also said that it really smells good, really retains its scent, but really misbehaves in cold process. So I'm doing that with hot process. The base of the soap is going to be Tropical Teal from Nurture Soap. Now usually I try to do kind of a two-tone swirl, but because this is a smaller batch, I'm not going to do that. It's just going to be all Tropical Teal on the base. I may lighten it a little bit with some titanium dioxide. Then I'm going to cold process the frosting on top, which I don't think will be a problem. I tried hot process frosting. It was a disaster. So in my cold process frosting on top, I'll use Nurture Soap's Iris Purple and Aqua Pearl from Brambleberry. So give me a minute to get my oils mixed up and my lye mixed up, and we'll be back and get started. Okay, we are ready. So let's get our mica in first. And I think in this size batch, 2 teaspoons, maybe just slightly overflowing, will be more than enough. And one of the things about doing this way is it is so mesmerizing to watch mica blending into oils. Make sure you can see that. Just beautiful. You probably can't really see all the shimmering, but it's just mica in oil. It's such a beautiful sight. And this mica looks fantastic as it is, but as it goes through gel and turns to soap, it'll be just a little dark for my liking. So I'm going to put just a tiny, tiny amount of titanium dioxide in it. Like I'm talking probably half a teaspoon. Just mix that in. And now let's get our lye in and start this turning to soap. And this is going to go for a long, long time. I really blend mine well, so I won't bore you with that. So I will bring you back when we get to the first stage. See you in a bit. Okay, if y'all have watched my hot process videos in the past, you've heard me say we have 3 phases of hot process. We have the applesauce stage, we have the mashed potato stage, and we have the gel phase stage where it's soap. We are currently at the applesauce. It looks like applesauce. This is where everything, you have curds and they have separated oils. It's kind of like applesauce. And it'll stay at this stage during most of the cook, but it will start to come back together when we get to the mashed potato stage. So I'll bring you back when we get there. Okay, so the applesauce stage has come back together, and now it's kind of at the mashed potato stage, like nice blue mashed potatoes, and literally probably just within minutes this will be in full gel, which means it's soap. So I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and even pull the plug and just let the residual heat finish doing its thing. Okay, it quickly turned to gel phase, which means it's soap. Now the next phase I like to put in sodium lactate, and it's 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. So that would be 2 teaspoons for this batch. And this is an optional step. What it does, it helps keep your soap fluid a little bit longer. Now, since I'm just doing a single color, it's not that big of an issue, but it will keep it fluid a little bit longer because I can't fragrance this right now. It's way too hot. I like to get it down in the 160 to 170 Fahrenheit range before I dare put the fragrance in. So I'm going to just leave it sitting out and let it start to cool. But the sodium lactate will actually break this up and make it sort of gelatinous. And it'll make it a lot easier to fragrance and to get into the mold before it starts to set up. So I'll see you at the next phase. Okay, time to fragrance. I'd like to let this cool a little more, but it's really starting to get thick on me. This is not my regular hot process recipe because I'm dealing with a smaller batch and then I'm doing a cold process frosting on top. I did just what's real common, especially for new soapers. It's 1/3 coconut, 1/3 palm, 1/3 olive. And it's getting a little thick on me, so I know I can use half of this bottle. This has a little bit lower usage rate than what I normally like, so just going to put half of it in, which means I'll have half of this to do at a later date. Now, fragrance takes a while to mix in to your hot process. But this is a smaller amount since it's a lower usage rate, so it should go in a little faster. But you just keep stirring and your soap will absorb it. Kind of fold it and turn it on itself, and that loosened it up some for the time being. See, it's already starting to absorb it. That is probably the fastest I have ever gotten fragrance stirred into hot process. And 1, this is a smaller batch than I normally do, and 2, it's a lower usage rate. And I believe we're ready to mold this. So you just start plopping. Kind of smear it out a little bit, and then give it a good tap on the floor to flatten it out. And I will not bore you with the rest of this. I will smooth the top out as best as I can. And I went ahead and mixed up my cold process for the frosting. It's just sitting over there. I haven't stick blended it. I've just kind of hand stirred it so it can sit for quite a while. But when I get that ready, I will bring us back. All right, let's see if we can get cold process frosting to stick to hot process soap. This has been sitting for a half an hour. It's really hot. Took forever to thicken up. And I stick blended the daylights out of it. But it's because it doesn't have any fragrance in it. Let's just smack that and make sure it adheres. And we'll find out tomorrow if that was successful. So here we go. And I'll see you tomorrow for the cut. Okay, it's time to cut our soap. So if you didn't see the beginning of the video, I'm trying a new fragrance that really is very naughty in cold process soap. But I always use those in hot process. But I did the smaller batch, so the base of the soap is hot process, which has the naughty fragrance in it. The top piping is cold process, which is unfragrant. So I did combine hot and cold process and just left the top unscented, and it seems to have worked really well. Since I only use it in the base and it's a lower usage rate than I normally would buy, I have some left and I might possibly try it next week in cold process. It apparently is doable if you know what you're doing, because I've seen others do it. So I might give it a shot next week and try it in cold process. But let's see how our hot process, cold process combination soap looks. And that's pretty much what I expected, just a simple base. So I tried to get the colors in the frosting. And the cold process frosting adhered to the hot process soap just fine. Which I thought it would. I didn't really think it'd be an issue, and it's not. It looks kind of funny. Those are bulged out a little farther than usual. Kind of like it's wearing a hat. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cut the rest of these off camera because they're going to look the same. So I do have the two-tone frosting and then the solid color on the base. So once again, I'll cut this off camera because they're all going to look the same, and then I'll upload a picture. So I'll see you next week, and I very well may try this fragrance in cold process. We'll see. Okay, bye everybody.